the biggest thing we're going this week, this thing we're going this week is something else. And as a Bible scholar and any Bible scholar will tell you, that is coming directly from how the Bible write that version of history. So if you don't know it, I can repeat it to you. Everybody hear about Noah, Shem and Japheth, his son them. And the story goes that Noah fall asleep naked. And his son, when name I remember so we just attack strictly from what the Bible said, you know. For the Bible we are telling about, right? For those of you who don't know what's happening here. Noah lay down naked. And according to the Bible, I'm going there and uncover him father nakedness. I don't know how I must interpret that, but I know how I interpret it. Him uncover him father nakedness because him father was drunk. And him other two sons, them, Shem and Japheth, come in and say, what have you done to our father? And them take piece of cloth and cover him. And according to the Bible, Canaan was the son of Ham. Canaan was, and according to how them interpret it, Ham is the father of African people. Shem is the father of the Shemitic people, where them call the Shemites in Asia. And Japheth is the father of the European people, according to the Bible. So Canaan was the son of Ham. And the story goes that instead of God curse the person who uncover him father nakedness, him curse the son of Ham. And him say, cursed shall be the son of Ham, which is Canaan. And him shall be a servant in the tents of Shem. That means that when Shem established himself, Canaan going to be his servant. So the story goes now. And the land that is called the land of Canaan is that land where Abraham come up out of with the two sons them. The two sons them is the son of Sarah, him half sister, and that son named Isaac. Are they on the right track? Yes. And Ishmael was the son of the maid servant, the Egyptian woman. Them say she named the Egyptian maiden gives birth to the son named Ishmael. So Ishmael, Sarah, who according to the Bible said she couldn't get pregnant, but at most 90-year-old she get pregnant. And when she realized the maid get pregnant for her husband, she run out the maid out of the house with the picnic. So the picnic and the mother go wander in the desert. While her son, Isaac, was to inherit the father's wealth, because themselves is the first son of the priority over this thing. Now, it's a really serious thing, and this is the part of the thing now where we want to come to. When Isaac have a son named Israel, for those of you who don't know where I talk about, listen to me carefully when I carry you wide. If you're wide, you can go back and read it. When Isaac get him son, when named Israel, the story tend to stay upon that part of Abraham seed, Israel. Because again, they're going to try to show you now the rise of the son of Isaac. But him never named Israel at the time, him named Jacob. And then the Egyptian woman who have the son named Ishmael, him a wander in the wilderness, in the desert, and him have some offspring where them never count in the Bible. And the only time they never count it now is when the name of Jacob changed. When the Bible says he fought with the angel of the Lord and overcome. And the angel said, what is your name? And he said, my name is Jacob. He said, from this day on, you shall be called Israel, because you have fought with the Lord and overcome. So Israel is a man. Ishmael is a man, according to the Bible. But the land was given, a piece of land was given to the son of named Canaan, but it was operating in the land of the Shemites, the Shemitic people. So that piece of land is where God now have promised the Israelites, say, this land is flowing with milk and honey. So the story go like this now. Israel become the chief source of what we call now, how we're going to set the story to make Israel become the chosen people of God. Israel rise up, and when you see what happened with Isaac and the other son them, what happened is that there is a contention that go on between the Edomites of the offsprings. Them call them the Edomites. And the Edomites become a warlike, they call to them a warlike people. And them start to fight against the Israelites, who was now the sons of Israel. The sons of Israel is called the Israelites. And each of the sons, them, the 12 sons, them, set up shop in the same land with them, in the Shemitic land, but it's in the tents of Canaan. So the land actually is the land of Canaan. It's not the land of Israel, and it's not the land of Arabs. It's the land of Canaan. According to these people we have fight, the Ishmaelites is the Arabs, and the Israeli is the Israelites. That is what them say. The Ishmaelites is the Arabs, which is the son of the Egyptian woman, and the Israelites, the Israeli is the Israelite, which is the son of Sarah, and it handed down now where she have Israel have 12 sons and 1 daughter, and each of them get a piece of land. The 12 tribe of Israel, known, if you read Genesis, I think 49, you will say the sons come out and them said, when Isaac was going to dead, not Isaac, Israel said, gather to me and I will tell you what will befall in the last days. And then each of them are symbolic, what we call now, will. It's a will him give them, say, you shall do this, you shall do that, you shall be that, you shall be that. No. These people who call themselves Israeli claim that inheritance, that land flowing with milk and honey, according to them. These Israeli people claim that inheritance because them say God give them that land. The problem with that story is that these people is mostly Russians and Germans who was trying to escape a certain persecution, just like the Irish them in Ireland are run from persecution, and find themselves get stuck in the land now where the same Ishmaelite them did live on. And in 1948, so far the story come up, 1948, the British colonize the place and give the Israeli them the land. And when the Israeli them get the land, them start to move slowly but surely the people them who the day they will call themselves Palestinians. To the point now where they move them right to the sea coast and block them in. So them couldn't come off through the water and them couldn't come off through the land because if I left the so-called Gaza Strip, according to them, the Gaza Strip is where them is. And if them come out of that boundary, them in Israel. And you have to have pass for going to Israel. Me and Tony Rebel got through that already. We said we want to go over to Egypt from Israel. And them said, no, the car license. This is how weird it is, you know. When the soldier them stop up on the road and we wait to Egypt, them say we can't go because we have on the wrong license plate. And them start to search we and turn we back and say we can't go over that side there because we have on the wrong license plate. So we'll have to turn back and we never get to go cross in Egypt. The only thing we could have do is go up on a boat and see what the matter is. There's some Moses, and there's some Moses cross the Red Sea. I'll go over there. And if I tell you, say, it look like a place you could have just swim go over there, you know. Yeah, anyway. We look how we are going now in this land here, where them call the Promised Land, where the three major Western religions converge. Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. And the whole of them are fight for that piece of land because them say it's the holiest place on earth. Muhammad ascending to heaven from there, so Jesus Christ get crucified there, so you know, and the Israeli them claim the land because of God give them the land. The problem with the Israeli them is that they are created an apartheid. They have created an apartheid system in that part of the world, just like what was happening in South Africa. And when Nelson Mandela and the ANC and the PAC rose up to take back the land from the white people them, America classified them as terrorists. America classified Nelson Mandela up to nearly to him death. As a matter of fact, them banned Winnie Mandela from enter America. And maybe I will probably never know that. Winnie Mandela couldn't travel to America again because them say she involved in killing people, rubber tire them. Nelson Mandela was a terrorist. Who is a terrorist? That is why I ask the question, you know, who is a terrorist? Because when you watch the Western media, you realize that the propaganda is so terrible and make you get so vexed that you say, how is it that CNN and all these people wasn't reporting the everyday funerals of the Palestinians them killed by Israeli soldiers and bombings in Palestine, in the Gaza Strip? Every day. When we look at the alternative news them, Democracy Now! And Al Jazeera, we say people are walk with them dead, going to bury them dead every day. Now we see the man them decide say they must organize up themselves and enter into Israel from Gaza. Serious invasion. And every news class where you look on will come out of the West. Says the wickedest thing any group of terrorists ever do. Where them kill baby, kill old people and all them something there. When I say killing baby and thing is not a problem, you know, but who for life matter? Who for life matter? Now much babies and old people get dead by the Israeli bombing of the Gaza Strip. And nobody in the West shall not tell you that. But so where I'm at now. Hear the man say, they must get rid of these men who is beasts, is animals. They're going to lock off light, water, and curfew them here and go in and go kill everybody who claim to be Hamas, from Hamas. Hamas is the government in Gaza Strip, you know. But they're going to wipe out. That is what I'm saying on the TV. They're going to wipe out everybody. All they're going to know who is Hamas from that. Because they're going to go in and go kill people just so. Because revenge them I deal with. Revenge. That's what them I deal with. Them don't want to come to the table and say, stop move the people them further and further into the sea. Because that's what them I do. Them I push the people, them take every week, every month, them take a piece of the land from the people them. And you can't fight back, because if you fight back, big America. See, big America now, send troops gone in there. Because them say some American get killed too. This why this happened that way already in the 70s, you know. That is why we did write that poem there. It did happen already in the 70s. But now it's worse. Because you never hear, all you hear some little skirmishes are going where bomb drop in Israel and kill 2 soldiers or something, or some car blow up and them thing there. We get caught in that when we go to Israel. Go check I wonder all the black Hebrews like them are going in Israel, you know. Because you see when you hear that horn go off in the city or anywhere there hear it, you better go underneath. You better go underneath the basement. We leave you be. Because that time when them there, Saddam Hussein did a Lego Scud missile in a Tel Aviv and all them way there. And we down there. We down there. And I say, oh, we are doing them place, I say. Every minute you hear a horn, wow. And everybody have to just cease and go in at them, with them call them underground, something. But we have to recognize this what take place down there. And we have to recognize all the Western media put it in a way where it sound like these people, some evil people. The two of them evil, because not none of them land. Israel in Africa. Israel none of the Middle East. There's no such thing as the Middle East. That's because you want to take away land from people and you call it Middle East. There's no Middle East or Asia Minor. It's not Asia Minor, it's connected. The only thing that divided is the Suez Canal. Just like how you have the Panama Canal. The Panama Canal was man-made to make ship and things pass through a country. But, you know, you have to cut out the land and make a waterway. You call it the canal. You make a waterway through 2 pieces of land. What is that them do with the Suez Canal? Them cut the land and make a waterway that ships and things, cargo and everything can go through. But it's Africa. It's Africa. That piece of land, Palestinian, where them occupy, and where the Israeli them occupy, is in Africa. And when I wonder, how come the Israeli them go through so much destruction with the brother named Hitler? And all the world sympathize with the Israeli them. They have a Holocaust museum in Washington. How come they go through all of that and come and persecute a set of people? And it's not that they can't have that state of them own, but one to the Palestinians, they must have a state of them own too. It's a 2-state thing, but them not involved with that. To the point now where the Palestinians say them can't take that neither. Because every day them lose piece of land, them bulldoze the people them house and put Israeli there to live. Them build up some little box house and put the Israeli them there to live. We don't get no news about them place there because apparently it don't look like it connected to we. But you know, you see this connected to we more than the Russian and the Ukraine war. And the problem with it is this now, that America give more aid to Israel than any other country in the world. So right now, them need to help Israel. So we're going to say what happened to Ukraine now. But why happened to Ukraine? Because Ukraine, the guy don't get a ball saying he want more help, he want more help. You think America can facilitate wars all over the place? See them saying the army go down as 82. Every war that has been fought in earth, America involved in every one of them. Every war. And most of the wars are about land. Because land is the basis of power. And them know that. That is why them take away land all the while. Land. The people them who occupy America come from Europe and go down and go occupy the land from the Native American them and almost wipe out the Native American them and thief them land. And the Israeli them was given the land by the British and them thief the land. It's a serious thing. So when we come forward, if we have time, we're going to play something that lead up to why is it that this thing has started to pour out a thing now. It just get out of hand. We're going to play a little clip for make you listen to why this happened now.
The informative information presented in this video is motivational and is positively aimed at inspiring, educating and entertaining the viewers with the cutting edge of critical reasoning. If you enjoy the contents on the Black Radar YouTube channel, please consider subscribing to show your support.
This is Mutabaruka. We want to present to you a wholesome kind of level of consciousness right now. So, subscribe and tell your friend them. This is Mutabaruka. We're going to go back to the story now where we're talk about the Bible and show you the other levels that bring it to this. Now, there's a man named Esau. There's a man named Jacob. And there's a man named Isaac. Now, Isaac was the father. And there was supposed to be a blessing taking place. But them say Isaac could have hardly say. Isaac could have hardly say. But how him can identify him son them is the ear upon them skin. Him identify them by them ear. How much ear them have on them body. So Esau, the son, I want to try to remember it properly, you know. I don't want to misguide the people them, but what happens is that the mother did love Jacob, Israel, sorry. Why I call him Israel now because him get blessing. The mother they love Israel more than all. She love Esau. And you know say it's Esau supposed to get the blessing because he was the older one. This is the son now will start to wander with the other woman there now. Yes. It come like Wagwana now in a Jamaica with the two woman there. And the minister of government, not minister, opposition. But here now, I go back to the story. They might get a blessing because the father look like him go dead now, and he go bless him son them. So he call up the two Esau and Jacob. And Jacob, mother did love Jacob more than she loved Esau. And how she go do it now is a trick she go bring now, you know. And God agree with the trick. The trick what she got to do now is she got to kill an animal and wrap her son in the skin. That when the father feel the skin, he might feel say is the elder son, is Esau, and give Jacob the blessing. You know, say, these people who are fight the war now, use that in the Bible to validate them special connection to God. Because the trick we play upon the father where him actually believes say was the son with the ear skin. And him give the son the blessing. Well, him never know that, you know. Only to realize in history, according to what we know, is that it's not a son that was supposed to get the blessing. It's a trick. And the God of Israel, Isaac and Jacob create a trick to have him out, to have Wagwan righteous or no happen. That them now come, even though it wasn't them. But them take onto themselves the story like it's them, physically, through DNA is them. Them want to tell us it's them now. These people call themselves Israeli. Them say it's them the dead there. For them ancestors the dead there. Them take the story and put all of the United Nations and take the story to make the whole world sympathize with them about the land that them thief are going to come forward. So I go through the places we talk about Israel and the ideas that surround Israel as it relates to the Bible and how them interpret the Bible and connect it to the Israel them. The Israel them connect that part them call it Torah, the Old Testament. You know, them claim to be the chosen of God. Isn't it ironical that 7 million people on the earth, different races, different language, and the creator, according to them, the creator of heaven and earth, choose a little peripheral, conspicuous group of people to be his own against the Chinese, the Indians, the Africans. These people is the chosen of God. What a terrible idea, terrible concept. And you have black people, even in Jamaica, as a matter of fact, where them preacher, I tell them about Israel like, yes, you see it, and that's what the Armageddon are going to start, you know. And them preach about the Israeli. That's we now start to really accept the atrocities that is placed on the next group of people. It's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. Them have a cheer for these people because them tell you say it's them was slaves in Egypt. No such thing happened. No such thing happened. It's a story. It's a story. The only part that thing is recorded is in the Bible, and it's them create that. And them own ledger. And then the Christian them now come validate it. Same European them and pass it on even to Ethiopia. And you can't tell certain people, and you find say you talk about fundamentalism. Christians more fundamentalist than any other group of people. Why do you think you have the Knights Templar? Why do you think the Knights Templar they do? Them go to Jerusalem, go ransack it and murder people. The Knights Templars, go look it up. We're fighting the wrong cause because when you look on what these people from Europe go into America and do with the Native American them, wipe them out and put them on reservation. Same thing like we're going here so now. When them go to America, them kill the people them and push them off of the good land and carry them in some desert in America and take with them land. Them still do it. Still do it. And them do the same thing over there. So the same British people them give these people the land. And them go into the land and move the people them who them go say half of the land. And push them further and further and further away. And control and manipulate the land. And when the people them fight back here, so them savage. Just like when you used to watch Cowboy Show. When the Native American have fight Finland where white man come the far. And when you see a little white woman in a wagon, an arrow just pierce her body, you feel like say them people they wicked man. Look how them kill the people them and the woman them. But what you want the people them do? You push a dog around for so long. One day that dog might turn and bite you. The people them was living in them land. And you come, take with them land, push them on reservation. And when them fight back, you hear to them is savage. And the same thing right here now. You push the people them further and further and see half of the land. And then you come here, say, the people them decide them to fight back, seriously fight back. And you hear to them is savage. But the man who come exploit your land and hold your hostage, him is not savage. Because he did not kill everybody in your family said we here. And you never commit war crime now by 10 say, they must starve out the people them, turn off them light and them water and electricity and everything. And come now and make you sympathize with them. Because them have the news can tell you how much people these people kill and how much this, that them do and them thing there. Just like what the Native American go through in Africa, in America, just like what the African them go through in South Africa. I try to take with them land. It's a serious thing. So we're going to play this now. We're going to play this. Because this thing come from a situation that took place recently. And we're going to play this to make you hear what's going on.
Let's talk about one of the holiest sites in the world.
The Al-Aqsa Mosque compound.
The Temple Mount.
It's a place that's always in the news.
We have another session of violence here right in front of the Al-Aqsa compound.
This is such a sensitive religious site, isn't it?
One of the flashpoints that led to the 11-day conflict.
Israel's far-right National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir has visited the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound. And it's a place that you need to get your head around if you want to understand what's going on between the Israelis and Palestinians. Here's the old city in occupied East Jerusalem, the place where Islam, Judaism, and Christianity all intersect. There are several sites here that are holy to all three, including this big compound that rises above everything else. Jews call it the Temple Mount. Muslims call it Al-Haram Al-Sharif, which means the noble sanctuary, or the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound, or sometimes just Al-Aqsa. Now, right in the middle of everything is the Dome of the Rock. It's an Islamic shrine where Muslims believe the Prophet Muhammad ascended to heaven. And here is the Al-Aqsa Mosque itself. It's got a huge prayer hall with space for 5,000 worshippers.
The Al-Aqsa Mosque got its name from a reference in the Quran that refers to a mystical night journey that the Prophet Muhammad made from Mecca to Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, which means the furthest mosque. And that was generally understood to be in Jerusalem. Jerusalem was the location of the first direction of prayer for Muslims and was later changed to Mecca.
Because of that, the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound is the third holiest site in Islam after Mecca and Medina. In Christianity, the site matters because of its significance in the Old Testament and because Jesus would have spent time there. And it's also the most holy site in Judaism. It's where two ancient Jewish temples once stood. The first was destroyed by the Babylonians. The second stood for almost 600 years until it was destroyed by the Romans in the 1st century. And according to Jewish teachings, the mount is where a third temple should be built when the Messiah, a savior figure, is sent by God. Now, for most of the last 800 years, the compound was controlled by Muslim rulers and wasn't accessible to non-Muslims. Traditionally, Jewish law actually forbids Jews from entering or praying inside the Temple Mount because it's considered so holy, a place of divine presence. So Jews pray outside the compound at the Western Wall, which is thought to have been part of the Second Temple.
Even to this day, the overwhelming majority of Orthodox rabbis will say, you are not allowed to visit. What this means is that throughout the millennia, the Temple Mount for Jews was a focus of devotion, but there were no particular demands. Pending the coming of the Messiah, all of that changed in 1967.
That's when Israel seized control of the Gaza Strip and the West Bank, including East Jerusalem, in the 6-day war between the Arabs and Israelis. But when it came to Al-Aqsa, the Israelis stuck with an arrangement that kept something called the Waqf in charge. It's an Islamic trust that's run by Jordan.
Jordan would retain control over the actual compound itself, the Al-Aqsa Mosque, its custodianship, its administration, its upkeep, who could access the site, who couldn't access the site, prayer and worship.
And that whole arrangement is wrapped up in this idea known as the status quo. It's a Latin phrase which means the situation as it is now. But in this context, the status quo refers to how things are done at Al-Aqsa.
Very simple. Muslims pray, non-Muslims visit. Full stop. If I were to try and translate this into the description of a dynamic, the Holy Esplanade, Haram al-Sharif Temple Mount, is exclusively a place of worship for Muslims that is open to the dignified and respectful visits of non-Muslims and in coordination with the autonomous authorities of the Waqf.
That's the theory anyway. What actually happens in practice is another thing. Because remember, Israel occupies East Jerusalem and has a heavy security presence in the Old City, including at the gates of the Al-Aqsa compound. So effectively, it's the Israeli police, not the Waqf officials, who ultimately control who goes in and out, although it wasn't always so explicit. There was a shift in the early 2000s after the Palestinian uprising against the Israeli occupation known as the Second Intifada.
We saw Israel then controlling not only the vicinity around the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound, but also the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound itself, taking control over security, access, and allowing increasing numbers of Jews to access the site.
The change in the Israeli perspective is, we're not your guests, we're your landlord, and we're going to show you that we're your landlord.
And what we're seeing is Israel increasingly exercising that control, and more accusations that they're breaking the agreed conventions of the status quo.
So there are lots of ways that the status quo has been violated. Restrictions on Muslim worship, which is something that the Israeli occupation imposes quite frequently. Sometimes age restrictions, usually limiting men of a certain age from entering the site if they feel that there may be protests or something happening.
We're also seeing more Jewish prayer, whether it's silent, but slowly it's becoming much more overt now.
There is Jewish prayer. I've seen it daily. But beyond that, there is a triumphalism, an ultranational triumphalism, which is perceived as a violation of the sanctity of the site by Muslim worshippers and people in the Muslim world.
The backdrop to all of this is the growing power of far-right groups and religious hardliners in Israel. For example, there is the Temple Mount movement that's been around for decades. It brings together a range of groups who want to overturn the status quo.
Throughout the years, that fringe became less of a fringe, and during the 1980s and the 1990s began to go mainstream, and today it is not only not a fringe, it is in power.
So you've got people like the new National Security Minister, Itamar Ben-Gvir, who entered the Al-Aqsa compound after only a few days on the job. He says the arrangements that limit Jewish access are racist.
It's one thing to have a non-governmental entity or groups of individuals go, but when you have ministers going up to the site, it's very different.
He was effectively asserting what he had promised during his campaign, during the electoral run-up, which was Jewish supremacy and sovereignty over all of Israel.
That's why what Ben-Gvir did was so provocative. Lots of countries condemned it. The UN Security Council called a special session about it. Because there's always the fear of how quickly things can escalate when it comes to Al-Aqsa. Like in the early 2000s, when a visit by the then opposition leader Ariel Sharon triggered the Second Intifada. And in 2021, when Israeli forces stormed Al-Aqsa Mosque during Ramadan. It all spiraled and led to an 11-day Israeli war on Gaza.
Hamas is both an explosive, but it is even more a detonator. And when the climatic conditions are correct, what happens on the mount can make the region erupt in flames.
Al-Aqsa is such a powerful symbol, so what happens there takes on an even bigger dimension. And for Palestinians, it's become emblematic of their wider struggle. The constant chipping away of their rights, their land, and their identity.
Didn't get to 700,000 Israeli settlers in the occupied territories overnight. It happened house by house, brick by brick, road by road, settlement by settlement. And so that's what's happening with the status quo. It's being eroded bit by bit. It is a slow, piecemeal process that the international community generally tolerates. Israeli governments haven't faced any real costs or repercussions for those actions. And so it's that impunity that allows them to kind of keep pushing the envelope further each time.
Check out our recent episode.
Yeah, so I guess the people must say it's enough is enough. You hear them talk about what make it reach this level. It's a defiling of a temple. You know, it's like when you have had a Bobo Hill now. And some Christian people start to overtake the Bible and I say, they are going to go do what them want to do. Nobody can stop them, or vice versa. It's like some Bible that go in a church, Holy Trinity Cathedral Church one Sunday and say, look here, I don't mean this one I want to say, no. We are come keep our service in this church, yeah. That is not acceptable. And that is really what them do. And it rat them, and so religion stay. Religion make you get wrathful easy.
The informative information presented in this video is motivational and is positively aimed at inspiring, educating and entertaining the viewers with the cutting edge of critical reasoning. If you enjoy the contents on the Black Radar YouTube channel, please consider subscribing to show your support.
So there with you, I go through the paces. So, this clip now is we go forward. You know, we'll come from back to the forward part right now. So here we go now.
Let's talk about what's happening in Israel and Gaza. A massive surprise attack on Israel by Hamas, the group that controls Gaza, has quickly escalated into the most intense conflict in decades.
An unprecedented military operation by Hamas and a colossal failure of Israeli intelligence.
You had all these gunmen entering up to 22 different locations outside the Gaza Strip.
Israel says hundreds of its citizens have been killed and many more injured.
The violent Israeli raids have not stopped bombarding across the Gaza Strip.
There's so much going on, so we're going to answer 3 questions to help you understand what's happening. This is Gaza. It's a small strip of Palestinian land that's been under a land, sea, and air blockade by Israel since 2007. More than 2 million Palestinians live there, crammed in, and they can only leave with Israeli permission, which few people get. It's often referred to as the world's largest open-air prison. And Hamas is the political and armed group that runs Gaza. It took control there after it won an election in 2006, but there hasn't been a vote since then. Hamas is part of a regional alliance that also includes Iran and the armed group Hezbollah in Lebanon. Israel, the U.S., EU, and others have designated Hamas a terrorist organization. Many Palestinians see Hamas as the most active group when it comes to resistance against Israeli occupation, especially since the other main Palestinian political group, Fatah, which controls parts of the West Bank, is often criticized for being ineffective. Now, Israel and Hamas have fought on and off wars. The last big one was in 2021. In the past, it's usually been an exchange of fire across the Gaza border. Hamas fires rockets into Israel. Israel drops bombs on Gaza, usually with a huge civilian death toll. But what happened this time around was very different. A lot of people are calling it unprecedented. Why? Well, really because of the scale of the attack that Hamas launched and because nobody really saw it coming. It started early on October 7th. Hamas fired thousands of rockets into Israel and then sent hundreds of fighters over the border. They overran a border crossing and broke down the security barrier that surrounds Gaza with bulldozers. Some fighters were in vehicles, some even flew over on motorized paragliders. They attacked towns and villages. At least 900 Israelis were killed, including around 260 at a music festival. Videos online showed panicked people trying to escape. Hamas also says it's captured more than 100 Israelis, including some senior military officers. Israel says children and elderly women were also taken. Nothing like that has happened since Hamas captured one Israeli soldier, Gilad Shalit, in 2006 and held him in Gaza for 5 years. 3 days after Hamas launched its attack, there were still gun battles going on between Hamas fighters and Israeli forces in 3 main areas in southern Israel. Which brings us to another reason why this is also unprecedented, and that's Israel's failure to stop it. Remember, the Israeli army is one of the world's most sophisticated military and intelligence organizations, and the border with Gaza is heavily monitored. So this attack came as a huge shock.
Unfortunately, we were taken by surprise. Absolute surprise.
Any kind of communication going in and out of Gaza, at least in theory, would be listened to by Israel's intelligence units. And of course, the border, so-called, around Gaza, a wall and fence, is also highly militarized, but clearly, that collapsed.
I think it raises questions as to Israel's military capability, which isn't a good look for Israel, since it likes to be seen as the strong man and incredibly capable in that region.
Israel has also vowed an unprecedented response and says it plans to wipe out Hamas's military capability and end its control of Gaza. Israel's been hitting Gaza hard with airstrikes and artillery.
All right. Yumna, please take cover.
No, it's okay. This is a missile attack on Palestine Tower.
There have been pictures coming out showing devastation and bodies being pulled out from the rubble. More than 700 people have been killed, including children.
Yes. This is just an airstrike now that you've heard. It seems that it's very close here from the area of where we are. We're at El Yarmouk neighborhood. This is the fourth mosque to be bombarded in the Gaza Strip.
Remember, Gaza is really densely populated. Civilians there are trapped with nowhere to escape to. There was already a blockade there, but now Israel has imposed a total siege on Gaza, which amounts to collective punishment, making it illegal under international law.
אין חשמל, אין מזון, אין מים, אין דלק. הכל סגור. אנחנו נלחמים בחיות אדם, ואנחנו נוהגים בהתאם.
Israel has called up 300,000 army reservists, and it looks like a ground invasion of Gaza is also imminent.
In front of me, I can see soldiers coming in on Humvees, Jeeps, Range Rovers. We are seeing an increasing troop build-up.
Okay, so why has all this happened now? Well, there's a clue in the name Hamas gave for its attack, Operation Al-Aqsa Flood. Just days before, hundreds of Israeli settlers, with the protection of Israeli forces, stormed Al-Aqsa Mosque compound in occupied East Jerusalem. This is a hugely important and contested religious site. It's often a flashpoint in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. We've done another Star Here episode all about that. We'll put a link to it in the comments. Now, Hamas said it launched its attack in response to the desecration of Al-Aqsa.
فقد قررنا أن نضع حدا لكل ذلك بعون الله ليفهم العدو أنه قد انتهى الوقت الذي يربط فيه دون محاسب.
But even if recent events at Al-Aqsa played a role, Hamas's huge attack would have taken a lot of planning. They also say the attack was a response to decades of Israeli violence and occupation. The daily impact of that occupation on the lives of Palestinians inside Gaza and in other occupied territories like the West Bank is also a big part of the story.
Analysts and experts have been warning for months that the reality on the ground, the record number of Palestinians killed, dispossessed, and injured and traumatized by Israeli forces and settlers across the occupied West Bank, the continued siege on Gaza, the relentless attacks on Al-Aqsa Mosque, they were all pushing the situation towards this moment. I don't think anybody imagined the particulars of the moment, but I think everybody with a sense of what was going on knew that this calm was deceiving and that something was going to happen, something big.
The whole world is watching this all unfold right now. There's a huge focus on the human cost, but there's also a growing sense that this is all going to shift things in the region in a big way. There's a risk it could lead to an even bigger regional conflict. It could draw a country like Iran, which Israel says helped to orchestrate the attack, although Iran denies they were involved in any way. But underlying it are even bigger questions that have never been answered and can no longer be ignored. What does real peace actually look like for everyone, and how can we get there?
It's possible and necessary to stand with both the Palestinians and Israelis without resorting to ethical relativism, to selective outrage, or worse, calls for violence. Politicians, policymakers should prioritize restoring legality and accountability, using diplomacy and peace as conflict resolution methods, rather than advocating for more violence or standing with one side or another.
I wonder if the other planets them are going through the same thing. Those places that we cannot see, not even with the strongest telescope. I wonder if so much trouble upon them planet there. But maybe it's not people upon the planet. Maybe it's not human beings upon the other planet them. So them do have the characteristics to be evil against each other. Because that is what we see go on now. The evil of men is protruding through space and time. And there's a reckoning that is happening right now. What will happen to this species called man on earth? Will they be here for the next 1,000 years? Will they? Or will they metamorphosized into some other kind of creature that is even more terrible than what they are today. Only time will tell.
I remember really rocking, you know.
So we're going to play this and we're going to take some phone call. In the last 1 hour and 10 minutes, 20 minutes left. We'll play and take some phone calls.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. We're joined now by Mohammed El-Kurd, Palestinian journalist, poet, writer, correspondent for The Nation, culture editor at Mondo Weiss, born and raised in the Jerusalem neighborhood of Sheikh Jarrah. Mohammed, can you comment overall on this situation right now and what you think needs to happen?
I honestly do not know what to tell you. It feels to me as though we are living in the very first few days of an unfolding genocide. I mean, not only are Israeli politicians and journalists alike and global forces calling for the annihilation of the Gaza Strip, for bombing it into the Stone Ages, declaring that they are interested in inflicting damage and not really precision. But these images that we are seeing coming outside of the Gaza Strip are so harrowing and devastating that one wonders how much bloodshed, how much Palestinian death is necessary for people to realize that violence begets violence, and that the occupation and the colonization of Palestine, the blockade of the Gaza Strip needs to end for all of this violence to end. I mean, I am incredibly angered that word of mouth, unverified reports of quote unquote rape and decapitation, which obviously draw on Islamophobic tropes, have garnered more and more political and global outrage than those very images, than a video of a nurse announcing and screaming in distress that her husband has been killed in an Israeli airstrike. And you know, the PR strategy of the Israeli regime throughout all of this has been to invoke those Islamophobic sentiments, like calling it Israel's quote unquote Israel's 9/11. And media outlets and journalists who have taken on this framing without any questioning not only work to equate the violence of a besieged, politically isolated group like Hamas with the violence of Al-Qaeda and ISIS and so on, but they are also doing the dirty work for Israelis. They are preemptively justifying the genocide of hundreds and thousands of Palestinians. They are justifying a brutal onslaught that is about to come globally, and that should be alarming. I mean, we have seen this unfold during 9/11. We have seen this unfold in history. The utilization of Islamophobia, the dehumanization, the constant dehumanizations of Palestinians, the refusal to see them as human beings who have the right to resist and to defend themselves and to be angry and to want the right to self-determination and to not want to live in siege anymore. All of this refusal to see all of this is contributing to this oncoming onslaught, where Israeli politicians can just call Palestinian human animals, can just say that they are not really concerned with saving anyone, can threaten to bomb aid envoys coming in from Egypt. This should be concerning to everybody around the world. It is terrifying times we are living in.
And this whole issue, hostage situation as well. Hamas has reported that in one of the bombing attacks, some of the hostages were killed along with those Hamas militants who were guarding them. What do you think the Israeli government posture will continue to be on this issue of the hostages?
I mean, so far, Hamas has said that they are willing to release all of the female detainees if Israel is going to release the 36 Palestinian female prisoners currently lingering in Israeli prisons, but the Israeli government has refused to negotiate. In fact, Israeli ministers like Smotrich have said that they could not care less about the hostages, and their goal is to inflict as much damage as possible on the besieged Gaza Strip. And I also want us to get one thing correctly. Holding 2 million people under blockade is a very serious hostage situation. This is what we're dealing with. The fact that the Israeli regime has been holding Palestinians in Gaza as hostages to exert political pressure on groups like Hamas. The fact that 25% of Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli prison are held without detention, are held without trial or charges, is a hostage situation. The fact that even in death, Palestinian corpses are held in mortuary chambers to be used as bargaining chips is a hostage situation. But time and time again, we are shown by the world its double standards. We are told that the only violence that matters is the violence inflicted upon Israelis, and the only lives that matter are the lives of Israelis. Palestinians have been living as hostages for the past 16 years in this blockade that must end, and it is incumbent upon us as journalists to make this context clear.
We just have 30 seconds, Mohammed Al-Kurd. You've been in the United States a lot. Of course, you live in Sheikh Jarrah. President Biden's about to give an address. What do you want to hear him say?
Well, I know what he is going to say about his biggest ally in the region. But I also know that my family and my neighborhood have experienced settler attacks who they throw Molotov cocktails overnight. I know that settler violence has been intensifying both in the old city of Jerusalem and all around the occupied West Bank and even in 1948 territories. And I know that lip service from Biden is not going to address it. But the world needs to know that as long as the occupation persists, as long as the apartheid system persists, resistance to it is going to persist. It is not a difficult equation to understand. People deserve dignity and freedom and to live safely in their homes.
Mohammed Al-Kurd, I want to thank you for being with us. Palestinian journalist, writer, correspondent for The Nation, culture editor at Mondo Weiss.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Fear. Knock, attack. Crack. Around your neck. Train. Aim. Fire. Yes, blessed.
Blessed?
Come on.
Yes, Muta. Morning.
Morning, sir.
Well, I'm going to tell you, boy, I'm going to know if it starts with this atrocity how we are going. First, let me say, me no back no form of violence. But when people are driven, when you have people living in a them the way they, what them are going to do with them back against the wall? When they don't tell themselves they're not nothing to live for. This is cheap then. Yeah. Wicked I see the same Bible thing it come down to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell some people a long time I tell people about it, you know. I'm a talk back. My youth always call me, my wife always call me go up in a church and sit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you some Muta. When a man go tell you and promise you a land where other people live on, what kind of style are
I tell you. Them go all over the place and do it, man. Them do it in America. Them do it in Africa, in South Africa. Them do it everywhere, Rasta.
The white policy is that them rule people and rule the world and for them policy, no matter how immoral or how sitting in the age, they accept it.
Yeah.
Remember, you know, you have a place in the United Nations where I have no respect for, I don't recognize them at all.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Them sanction all we are going now. All we are going, them sanction it. Like America, you know.
Let me tell you, when United Nations are formed, the first thing, them bring in America. And it's a racist system when we say, yeah, we have to protect ourselves as white interests. You understand? Because when George Bush did claim, say, Saddam have weapon of mass destruction and he can hurt American, whatever. And they use Colin Powell to fabricate.
Yeah. Remember that?
Up in a United Nations.
Yeah,
and
man.
The chief scientist, inspector, the chief weapons inspector tell them to listen, we're not going to need years, we're not going to need decades to check for this. I'll just need a couple months. So, give me a couple months, we check out the site, whatever. And then we can't tell them what going on. George Bush look on the United Nations and tell them, say, I give them 48 hours to leave out of Iraq. How can you give United Nations? And in the way when they find out none of it, there's no sanction, nothing.
Yeah.
And George Bush just gone there, gone retire well nice.
And kill whole heap of people. Look how much blood them up on them shoulder, man.
He want to Tony Blair end up turn envoy down there.
Yeah, man. And then put the black man in front there to be a fool with himself, Colin Powell. That's why Arabella Fonte cuss him so.
All the while, and Colin Powell himself can confess.
Yeah.
I watch him confess, why they know, say, whatever, and then whatever. And no recognition, no, they club card pan the whole, pan Saddam, no club card pan Gaddafi. Listen me, it's a war going on in the Middle East. Why religion have to survive? Why religion have to kill the one that? I ask the question to somebody one day, they might say, why they might kill God's name? And I say, why God, the power of God, why not be killing himself? Why human being have to kill the one that? So you say God, some form of God.
Well, them have been telling you that for years now. All the killing them says in the name of God.
Remember, you know, it's true when they give it outcome this land and get tea from the other one, you know. Even blind people come like the my worst thing. You know, me as a big man, you can't tell me say a man put sheepskin for a man and a blind man feel and pick me. Sheepskin dead, it's that dead to the bone. Check, what can I hear that the man they put have for team skin so that a man
feel it, I don't know, sir, I know him son.
I don't know, see your picnic. No time to get beat for them a question. How can this be? How can this be?
And people believe it right through the ages. So something goes so.
This lady have her husband and her husband couldn't get pregnant.
Yeah.
Which her husband
no, her wife couldn't get pregnant.
Yes, so sorry. My bad, I'm so sorry.
No man, we will take the mistake there. We take the mistake there, man. I don't know.
Yeah man, he couldn't impregnate his wife. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
You understand? And then she have a servant and say, alright, you're young and go on to my husband. That is the story, you know. And when the girl go to the husband and get the first picnic, some miraculous 90-year-old woman end up get pregnant.
And she run with the woman. The helper. And the helper, you know, see that I go on at Jamaica, you know, and the helper get run with, you know.
All the while, yeah, I saw come here a bastard when they used to pick me a bastard.
Yeah. Mr. This and Mr. That have picked with the helper, and nobody know what accepts a film picnic, you know. The rest of family know what accept it. Because them say daddy not going to do that.
You ever talk about me really fully adapt? It's terrible, man.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
And all the people have to live. Them have to live and wait to hear bomb drop and them loved one get murdered by the same people them who have killed them. For centuries them have killed them.
Centuries. From the so-called Pope, I remember when he named the declaration to go down there and say it's God's will.
They call it the Knights Templars.
I terribly people, and when it's them come back up and run to pick me everybody.
In Jerusalem, the Knights Templars is going on.
Yes, man. And see that when you get England, England, America, then go and speak the word. As they have a south and a north. Why Korean? People out of course black people, they sell out they wonder. I want Korea.
One India too, and them separated the called Pakistan.
What do you mean? Kashmir?
No, I say it name no Pakistan, India.
Yeah, I know, but the whole country, the whole country named Kashmir and it's pretty. And in America, I want the people to know what they stand because they are Kashmir and two of them are child claims Salania. It seems that people, two of them, as they resemble alike, who do that there. But you suppose black people. But
you have Dominica and Haiti, same country, you know. You have Russia and Ukraine, that same country, you know, why people divide it up.
Ukraine.
And Russia.
I talk about Ukraine. Remember, you know, this brother here, this comedian, this clown, we're saying Zelensky, you know, he wasn't no farmer, you know, no politics, you know. When Russia achieved the World Cup achieved by Russia, the Americans then would stir up some people because the president at the time said Russia is the neighbor. Most of the people them talk Russian, so Russia have over resources for the same way.
Yeah.
So Russia can help with Russia moral good everything. So we can work with them because we're neighbor. America is almost hundreds of miles, thousands of miles plus how much ocean over there. And then keep a demonstration at something start. When they name the World Cup. Remember the demonstration before Ukraine? The report that when they go to Obama and take out the rightful man who go study the Prime Minister and President. We move to our country economy. I remember since Zelensky actually war, you know. And they don't like Russia, you know. Remember say, you know, Ukraine is the most corrupt country in the world, you know, that they are retarded, you know. One of the most corrupt country, you know. The Prime Minister, the President, everything corrupt. So that's why they're not sure no again corrupt for that, and that tell them say, you not give them no money until they find sitting from Biden.
Yeah, terrible thing, man.
No, look on the Hamas. Look on me Google
Gaza.
10 years, Gaza map, the map of Gaza 20 years ago. And then me Google Gaza.
No.
And you could never believe the reduction of the them pushing people.
Yeah, man. Most people don't know that, you know. Most people don't know that.
When United Nations start sitting back about Israel, you know, you're mainstream, you know. When United Nations listen to me, stop the settlement, it's a crime, it's an international crime. You're supposed to occupy land, people just like when we say women war. People are supposed to have free for worship, they're supposed to go in and people and places they're not going to visit that tourists and sitting. But here one next thing in our life, Muta. As long as you know white, it's alright. But once a white people it happen to, it's all wrong.
If you're black, get back. If you're stick around. If you're white, it's alright.
No, when we say when you know right, it's alright. No, atrocity, you know, so you know white and that time to you, everything good.
Yeah.
No, nothing to see over there. You don't have to look over there, so everything good.
Good, that's true, man. I have to move.
All right, move. Bless yourself and keep on keeping on.
Yeah, man. Give thanks, Virgin. Cutting edge. Yes, EL. Yes. Yeah, man.
Good night, Muta. Good night, Jamaica and the rest of the world.
Yes, sir.
I run through some documents a while ago. We look for what the world map we have. I have one in my living room, you know, but there's a world map I didn't have from me I go school, you see. There, some country get logo, and one country never get no logo. Yes, and I don't like to find that world map there, you know. I have the documents I run through a while ago.
Okay.
And I don't like to send it to you and show you what I go on. All right. You see America, you never get no logo.
Yeah.
Right. Listen now. You see America, they didn't have one called dirty war in England. And the America derive from. They have their family war, right? The history of him, you know. We are going to history of him. They have their family war, right? In England. See? So they get chased up, right? So he left out with the regime, go round on the Indian man land, right?
Yeah.
Fight off the Indian, set up their regime, right? Good. In World War II, you know, so America never did fight in the war, or when the war almost done, and get a bus, and run go drop bomb on Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
Yeah.
Right? And in that time now, that is the time when they put football on people land. You understand? Look here, no Muta, I want everybody to remember this now. Remember sometime in the 80s, them interview the England journalists and American journalists. I remember that time I was youth and I watch TV, you know, right? And there was someone that conduct the program and they said to America, as far as we see you moving, you look like you want to be the world power. America will say yes. Listen now, the America will say yes. You're the England journalist scream now. After you come from us, you don't really want to turn on us? We will see. Right? Listen now, listen to peace and no people. When the war thing in our keep up in the Middle East there, where was the war conference keep? In England.
Which one of the war did you talk about?
The fact was going between down at the Middle East with Afghanistan, Europe, Iran, everybody. You understand?
Okay.
Remember now, it's in England the war conference keep. Right? And look at it now, people. Everybody in America team up and go down there. You know, so what happened? Everybody pull out and leave America one in it. Right? Good. We don't remember that now, no people. Right? So, the same England here trap America under the quiet.
I let them do trap America.
Of course. Can see it now? I mean, a big problem. The biggest problem into Kamuta right now, I tell you the truth. A two-nation build me up. Negro an Indian. Right? If you search that tape up by Jamaican embassy or US embassy, let me show you that tape and show you Anglo America. First, we say, we don't want no spotters to be no world police. Right? That is a problem in the world today. Okay?
Yeah.
He's a squatter. Right? See, you know, the Indian man go to court for the land. Right? I want people to remember this now, you know. And they say only who have the right of the land is the native. So you see what happened to America now? He's nowhere. And Muta, I tell you the truth right now. He trespassed against my two nation. And right now my blood are boiled for him. Right now, Muta, I tell you the truth. And the world. We have 20 strong army in Africa. And if I could have get them unite together, I see, and have that forces with all the balance of the other world against him.
Yeah.
So what happened to him? Listen, you know, these are those weapons.
Yeah.
Remember, some of the material come from Jamaica here, you know. I'm
What's the material then?
We make the higher and all them things, the faces and have them things, they make gun, this, that.
What kind of gun come from Jamaica?
Well, I know, the metal.
Which metal? What the name of the metal?
Well, I know. We is one of the countries in the world that produce
Where you tell us hold on, pan? May I ask you which one of the metal them come from Jamaica will make the them? Tell me which one.
All right. We have bauxite here.
Okay.
We export bauxite, right?
Yeah. So it hard to say bauxite, man.
Huh?
Oh, it's hard to say bauxite, so. Oh, it's so hard to say bauxite.
No, may I give you the roundness of the thing.
No, but true, me have to dig you for say bauxite.
Yeah, the bauxite come from here. That made those materials, make plane, tanker, this, that. So you have to know. That thing the rights now to come in and now those materials come from here now. So we need certain percent of those material here. We need the plane in Jamaica here. That means any guy wants out the arsenal attack. I am here to stand up. Okay? Because you see this America thing you know? It's not relevant to the world. Because first thing, this world police, you know, is a squatter, murderer, raper, right? Sadoma, right? You can't go impose a religion on people people don't like, we don't want.
Well, that them do with Christianity.
Because I tell you the truth, one part of Christianity they where man say them a kiss man per man, just them a betray man. If a man try that people know not move, just try to joke if I see what happened to him. So me not really go that one impose on me. You know?
You have some nation where the man kiss the other man for the mouth too. You never know that?
Me not into that, you know.
No, me never say you into it. I know your culture that. You have some place where them don't yam pork, you know.
Yes, coming on yamming.
Yeah, but I tell you, say you have people who yam pork.
Yes.
And you have some people not into that. And you have some people who yam dog. Some people who yam dog and you're not into that neither.
75% of Jamaican doesn't eat pork.
Oh, you know that?
I know that for sure.
No, oh, you know, where you use and come to that conclusion?
Well, call 10 man right now, yes, I see something.
No, Vietnam man, you come to 75% of people in Jamaica don't eat pork, or you come to that?
Muta, I know a lot of people who are not Rasta.
No, Vietnam man, yeah, all right, go on.
My survey may I give you no Muta.
Yeah, you come to, where you do for survey that? What kind of?
All right, remember now, I live in a population, right? And I don't live in a mountain to myself, right? I deal with the public, right? Right? Good. Me even do things to me run a farm when I employ people to win them. Me want to talk all those things like that. Because I feel America, me can lock off all in photo. Yes, so me have a motor. If 10 man here right now, and you want to serve the 10 man, and look, if you find 5 man eat pork, and I know a lot of person who motor, they are not Rastas, and they don't deal with it, they don't eat it. That's why I say 70%, 75% of Jamaican I know does not eat pork.
Alright, sir.
Yeah.
Alright, I have to move now, though.
Alright, the next man can talk.
Yeah, man, get down.
Yes, man.
Oh, to get them. That is beautiful.
Yeah, man. Then, no, it may I tell the man.
Oh,
yeah.
About the Banana Republic. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, true, yeah. Yeah, remember. We tell Jackie, say, look where she right, say, so like oldness. That's the right from my little boy, though. That's right from my little boy, you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Anyway, my God say get it still. Okay, so we're up on the cutting edge, and we cover a series of things that relate to the Gaza, the Israeli, the Palestinians, you know, and others are coming out to Hezbollah, Lebanon, and maybe Egypt too. We never can tell what will happen because we see the American them gone down there now because some of them people, citizens get dead. You know, you never know where you're going to go. But you have to watch it, you know, because it's not like that Russian Ukraine thing are going on there, you know. Totally different thing, this, you know. Totally different thing. And you see them man there, you don't talk about or Putin or one wicked man and them thing there. Them man there, you see the man there where are the Prime Minister of Israel, a criminal, you know. You know what criminal charge him and pan him and still get to and still come win election. Them man there devious more than evil where you could have think say Putin, a wicked man. Because you know you're one of them man in them army, one of the head man of the army say. Them say them going to wipe out these people, them as human animals. Imagine that, the man say them as human animals. And so them do know that a crime against humanity what them do today, you know, yesterday. Turn off the light, turn off the water, and besides say nobody can leave, come in or come out. And with them when I go in now go kill who them want to kill. When you hear them talk about them go for Hamas. Them not go for Hamas, them go for the Palestinian people. Because you can't tell me say every Palestinian right now no have a certain resentment for Israeli. Because they have it for a long time because they have been feeling death and destruction from the Israeli them for years. And it escalated all this year too. Yeah, it escalated all this year, so it's not an easy thing.
The informative information presented in this video is motivational and is positively aimed at inspiring, educating and entertaining the viewers with the cutting edge of critical reasoning. If you enjoy the contents on the Black Radar YouTube channel, please consider subscribing to show your support.
This is Mutabaruka. We want to present to you a wholesome kind of level of consciousness right now. So, subscribe and tell your friend them. This is Mutabaruka.